Hi everyone, I am Rip, and welcome to my diary. Today I'm going to be talking about Hollow Fields, written by Madeleine Rosca. Hollow Fields is a 4-volume series about Lucy Snow, who is 9.5 years old, and whose best friend is a stuffed dinosaur named Dino. Fancy. And she is on her way to St. Galbat's School for Girls, and she gets lost on her way there and ends up at Hollow Fields, a school for mad scientists. Given the setup, you can't be surprised that there are some, how should I put it, plot holes within the series. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be counting down my top 4 favorite plot holes, or at least the 4 that I found that I really actually enjoyed. How long Hollow Fields has been opened. In Volume 3 of the original Hollow Fields series, Miss Weaver, the principal of Hollow Fields, makes a very big point that she started the school 80 years ago. All well and good. All through the first 3 books, that is a constant. But when you get to book 4, Principal Bleak says that Hollow Fields was started over 100 years ago. I'm not sure if Rosca just sort of forgot how long the school had been opened, or if like 20 years had passed in a blink and no one grew up. I don't know. I'm assuming it's not the second one because the characters are still about 10 years old. Number 3. Miss Weaver's explanation for students returning as engineers. At the very beginning of Hollow Fields, we learn through Lucy that once a week Miss Weaver sends one student to the windmill for detention. And it is very important because as Simon, her newfound and only friend for the majority of the series, is taken away in chains, that you never come back from the windmill. It doesn't happen. So with that in mind, that's how all the students have known it for 80 to 100 years, depending on what you choose. I choose 80. So my big question is, what was Miss Weaver planning on telling the students when she finally completed her experiments to take one person's conscious and implant it in another body? When the children disappeared week by week, and then they started coming back with the consciousness of engineers in them. Even if these kids are 10 and the children of mad scientists, I 100% believe they are going to be freaked out when they find out that Miss Weaver is taking their friends and whatever, friends and family, other students that they went to school with, and putting engineers' minds in them. With the knowledge that this can happen at any time as long as you go to the windmill. On one hand, it would be more beneficial for Miss Weaver because then the students would have to work harder, and she'd be able to complete her experiment as many times as she wants. On the downside, students might stop coming into class, or, I don't understand how she was planning on working with this. Then again, Miss Weaver doesn't exactly think things through. She just has a plan and goes for it, as evidenced by the fact that her engineers, when she finally does complete her experiment, destroy the school because they don't want to wait their turn. This one is probably one of the most noticeable and one of the favorite plot holes amongst fans of Hollow Fields, and that would have to be Professor Bleak's first name. When Professor Bleak first introduces himself when he meets Lucy in the library, he says his name is Professor Atticus Normandy Bleak. Well, later in the series, when Miss Weaver is referring to him, like when she's having a conversation with him in the flashback, and again when they meet each other in Volume 3, she calls him Artemis. If it were a normal, loving couple, and maybe we were told why she calls him Artemis, I would say that maybe it was just a marital nickname, a term of affection for a spouse. But considering that's not the relationship, and Miss Weaver actively tries to remove him from her life, first by putting him in a box, given the fact that Miss Weaver and Dr. Bleak don't have a very affectionate relationship, I'm going to say that's not the case. And just sort of assume that maybe, possibly, Rosca, forgot? Or, changed the name halfway through and didn't explain it. I don't know. This one, honestly, sort of drives me a little bit crazy. More so than any of the others, because for the 3rd volume, especially the ending, it was kind of important. The topic is the stinger in Claude's arm. somewhere about Volume 2, Volume 3, Miss Notch implants a stinger in Claude's shoulder, which basically performs the function of not allowing a student to leave school property. If they do, the stinger will kill them. This is made very apparent at the very end when Claude tries to leave Hollow Fields and isn't allowed because it causes him pain. And Carmen even says that if he tries to leave, it will kill him. Given the fact that Volume 4 of the series takes place only, I would say, maybe 6 months after the completion of Volume 3, there's an issue. Because in Volume 4, one of the main plot points is Claude's dad appears and says, "You're coming home with me. We are leaving." Now, if they'd even mention the stinger at all, I wouldn't have an issue, but they never do. It's like it's a completely forgotten plot point that basically sets up the reason why Claude has to stay at Hollow Fields. And here, his dad comes along and says, "I'm going to take you." And he actually does. In the beginning of the book, Claude's dad takes Claude and Lucy out to dinner in the town. They leave school property and go get food and then come back. And then later, Claude leaves to go to the inter-school mad science competition race thing and then comes back. And at the very end, Claude is actually allowed to leave Hollow Fields. But they never once explain what happened to the stinger. Like, did it just poof, go bye-bye? Did they manage to get it out? And if so, why did Claude decide to stay at the school? Was it just for his new friends Lucy and Carmen? It's never explained. And that's the main issue that I have, the main reason I have issues with this particular plot hole. So, there you go. Those are my top 4 plot holes from the Hollow Field series. If you like, maybe actually hit the thumbs up button. If you don't, you don't have to. It's my own opinion. And if there are any plot holes that maybe you guys noticed and I didn't, feel free to comment them below. Perhaps in the future I will make another video. I don't know. I hope to very, very much, and maybe next time it'll actually be a review. So, I'm going to sign off now.